take the first one?
Absolutely.
There you go,
I participated earlier this morning in the opening of a new realigned West Bay Street in Nassau. The road project is facilitating the mega redevelopment of the Barmar Resort in Cable Beach, a project which promises to create thousands of jobs and hundreds of business opportunities for Bahamians in our economy. And that new road fits into my government's larger planned upgrade of infrastructure on the island of New Providence. And a number of infrastructural projects will, when completed, improve the network of road corridors in the capital city, reducing traffic congestion for those of us who live there and for those of you who come there, bring improved quality and quantity of water, more reliable supply of electricity in old traditional neighborhoods, as well as further afield, most particularly in the eastern end of the island of New Providence. And finally, as Fenton told you, after more than 30 years of Nassau barging water from Andros, we will discontinue barging water to Nassau from Andros early next month, and New Providence will have produced in Nassau all the water it needs for its development. Now, I take note of this reality. There is only a sufficient supply of groundwater in the Bahamas on the following islands: Andros, Abaco, and Grand Bahama. All of the other islands of the Bahamas do not have sufficient groundwater supply to adequately supply the residents and development with good quality potable water. And this doesn't extend to the keys of these islands either. Notably, in my part of the Abacos, in Green Turtle Key, we have had to have rainwater for all of their days. They bought water for drinking purposes, but the community had to have rainwater tanks installed at their homes. And this would apply to Guana Key and Manawar, Hopetown, Cherokee Sound, Moores Island, in Bimini. Here again, not an adequate supply of groundwater. In Speedenski and Water Key in Grand Bahama, in Black Point, Exuma, in Currant Island in Eleuthera, in Rum Key and Ragged Island, Acklands, in Crooked Island and Cat Key, San Salvador, and a number of other places. Water levels are deficient and inadequate for the needs of the communities. As a consequence of that reality, alternate means to produce and deliver water had to be found. Water produced from desalination plants has not always been as affordable as it has become with the advance of technology. This has meant that we've been able to install in more recent times desalination plants in Exuma, the mainland, in Black Point, one of the keys, in Long Island, central part of Long Island, in Bimini and Moores Island, in Grand Key and San Salvador, in Anagua, in Ragged Island, and of course, as you would have heard, in Nassau. And since last year, we have now finally been able to provide ground pipe water to Green Turtle Key in the Abacos directly from the mainland. Before that time, as I said, residents there were forced to depend on rainwater for their everyday needs and to purchase drinking water. I've come to Eleuthera this afternoon to share in the joy of residents of Tarpum Bay and Rock Sound in finally having access to piped, clean and drinkable water. As in New Providence, my government is committed to improving public infrastructure and improving the quality of public utilities available to Bahamians, regardless of their island of residence. This is not only a matter of convenience, it is very importantly about ensuring the health of our nation and our people. Access to safe potable water is fundamental to healthy living. When I heard your MP speak just now, and he referred to the parable of the hard-hearted king, I said to myself, forgive him, for he knows not what he is saying.
I didn't refer to you.
No, I didn't say you referred to me. I didn't say you referred to me. I said, when I heard you refer to the parable. I didn't initially intend to come for this ceremony, and in fact, I didn't tell them I was coming until 2 days ago. I called the general manager and said, no, I'm going to come. Because I have a story to tell, and I wanted to tell it to you and the president of your MP, because he keeps telling me about it in the House. But I want to tell my story to the entire public of the Lutra. I recall vividly, most vividly, how stunned I was during a visit to Tarpum Bay while I was not Prime Minister between 2002 and 2007. I spent the night at a place called Ethel's Cottages and looked forward to a refreshing shower the following morning. I found it difficult to discern a difference between the water in that shower and when I used to jump overboard as a boy in Cooperstown into the sea. I was in the company of the Member of Parliament for North Lutra, the Speaker of the House Assembly, the Honourable Alden Smith, who joins me here today. And I recall him saying at the time that not only was the quality of the water unfit for human consumption, it was unhealthy for animals and not suited for water and plants either. When I got back to Nassau and the House of Assembly met, I didn't wait for the budget debate. Whenever I made the next speech, I raised the matter and said that the water in this area was terrible. It didn't get any traction at the time with the government. Nobody paid any attention to me. I noticed, though, that since my return to office in 2007, your Member of Parliament has made a point of bringing up this poor quality of water to the government's attention at every budget speech. And I told him on one occasion, or more, that when his party was in and we were out, mums was the word. I also assured him, though, that on my watch, he need not concern himself. Tarpum Bay and Rock Sound would get piped, portable water. So many people nowadays suffer from amnesia. It is essential to remind them from time to time. When I first came to office in 1992, the problem of water for the island of Eleuthera faced us squarely. We determined that Eleuthera would be the place where we would concentrate and focus in the production of water and the supply of water. We borrowed $10 million or more from the Caribbean Development Bank, and we undertook a project that was called the All Eleuthera Water Project. It was designed and intended to take care of all the water needs from Governor's Harbour to the north of Eleuthera, the Bluff, take care of Spanish Wells, and take care of Harbour Island. After that, we decided, listen, we now got to do more. We negotiated a second loan with the Caribbean Development Bank. And that loan we negotiated was to ensure that the water got extended from Savannah Sound to Governor's Harbour, so to connect to the south, the Tarpum Bay and Rock Sound, and down the deep south, Waterford, Greencastle, Deep Creek, etc. The only two communities that were not included in our plan was Bannerman Town in the south and Currant Island in the north. Everything else was included. In fact, if you note, all they had to do here was to put this thing here to be able to produce the water. The pipes have been in the ground here for more than 10 years, sitting down waiting for somebody to come along and put water through them. We had originally intended to improve the performance of water supply for the deep south and down here by well fields. But as technology improved, decisions were taken by the government in 2001 to switch to RO. No, the decision was taken by the government in 2001 about the project down south, which was supposed to be done as a result of groundwater, but in 2003 the decision was taken that it ought to be by RO. We have ensured that every community has the infrastructure to accommodate the water supply. We still have work to do in other parts of the Bahamas. But I say very truthfully that the government that succeeded me didn't see its way clear to deal with the water supply for yourselves here in Tarpum Bay and Rock Sound. They carried on with our plans for the south, the deep south, but not for you. And quite frankly, it was only because of my personal experience at Ettles that first brought forcibly my notice your predicament and the unfinished water project. Frankly, having replaced your water mains earlier, I certainly expected that your water supply needs would have been addressed. And so I accept no responsibility other than the responsibility of being in charge of the government for the matters about which your MP complained. Physician, heal thyself. I also want you to know, ladies and gentlemen, that the government is paying through the Water and Sewage Corporation, because the Water and Sewage Corporation has no money, so it's the government's money. $9 for every 1,000 gallons of water that's produced by the GE company. You are now being charged, I think, $6 for that bad water you're getting. It's expected that you're going to pay $8 at some point in time per 1,000 gallons. And at some point in time, the government of the Bahamas expects that you will pay the cost of the water. It is not fair or reasonable for the public of the Bahamas to borrow money to provide water to Eleuthera, to Abaco, to Exoma, etc., for people who are able to pay for water. We have to provide water to those who cannot afford. So at some point in time, your water charges are going to go up to pay, because if you're only paying $6 or $8, and I'm paying the man $9, and I'm paying the Water and Sewage Corporation all of their heavy costs for operation, and their high salaries and high benefits, etc., you will note that it is not possible for that to continue for an indefinite period. So I want to tell you very honestly that at some point in time, your water charges are going to go up, just like they're going up in Abaco and elsewhere in the Bahamas. Tarpum Bay and Rock Sound are very developed communities, comprising enterprising Bahamians who, by the sweat of their brows, have developed businesses, constructed homes, and made a good life for themselves and their families. And you deserve good public services. For my part, I am grateful to the Bahamian people who put me in a position to do for people such as yourselves what should be done for you, and what you should expect from the public, what you should expect from the government in terms of public services in the Bahamas. Have a good afternoon. Enjoy the water. Thank you.